In this match, we've got 3 vehicles that are almost 200 grams. We've got a lot of ramps. It's gonna be insane. Hi everybody, I'm Aaron Yonda. Welcome to the Junkyard Joust Custom Tournament. Here are the 5 teams: Cthulhu, Totaled Out Towing, Baby Brigade, Skull Riders, and Ragtag Racing. This is gonna be nuts. Let's head into the garage and see what we got. First up, it's the Baby Brigade from G4 Diecast Racing. Don't let the bright colors fool you. These cars are dangerous. And so are those babies. I wonder if Baby Cookie knows them. Up next, it's Skull Riders from NDR. They've got some heavy vehicles on this team and some good undercutting ability. Ragtag Racing, also very heavy vehicles and a couple of undercutters. One of them trying to escape the platform. Beware Cthulhu, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. This is a madness-inducing team. Should be interesting to see what powers they possess. And this is Totaled Out Towing, a team of tow trucks, TOT. Let's head out into the junkyard and joust. It appears Baby Brigade have brought extra babies, and they're hanging out over by Baby Cookie right now. I don't know if Baby Cookie knows these babies, but I have a feeling she's gonna get to know them. There are babies hanging out on all of the officiating crew, the Evil Weevils. I assume they will not be influenced by those babies when they are making calls on the field. And our Track Buffer Evil Weevil, sponsored by Track Buffer LLC. Even a baby on that one. That's going to be a dangerous spot to be when Carthonian comes down, sponsored by Sauce Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Carthonian heads down the track, slams into Evil Weevil, takes its place down at the end of the track as the baby tumbles all over. Running order is up, randomly determined. The order the cars go down in, also randomly determined. Here comes Repo Duty, sponsored by Chemical Knight. Repo Duty flips right off the back of Carthonian. What a weird reaction to that car. And that little double tap sends Repo Man careening off the track upside down. Our first casualty in this match if he stays upside down. Up first for the Brigade, it's Phaeton, sponsored by Dr. Gonzo. Phaeton slices under Carthonian. Carthonian gets booted, goes sideways. Phaeton backs down the track. First chance to see whether these ramps are going to play a big role in this match. Up first for the Skull Riders, it's Bed OLED, 197 grams, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. Bed OLED leaps off the back of Phaeton, bounces on the track, and then goes off the edge, but then something very weird happens. Bed OLED is so heavy, it started to twist the track. And if Phaeton doesn't slide off, we've got an angled ramp. This is something I've never seen before, and it is going to affect the outcome of this match. There's no doubt about it. Solaire now for Ragtag, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. Solaire cannot get under Phaeton, slides off to the right, smashes into the crates, almost lands it, but can't pull it off. Carthonian recovered last run when Bed OLED smashed into it. Wow, look at this car, Shoggoth Mobile, sponsored by Jenkies Velma. The Shoggoth Mobile goes right off the ramp, goes immediately into the crates, and flips over sideways. Not a huge surprise. That's probably the most top-heavy vehicle we've ever seen in the junkyard. Maybe it's the strange influence of this Cthulhu team that has caused the track to twist like this. I have no idea. Heavy Hitcher, sponsored by Farty Marty. Heavy Hitcher does not go off the ramp, actually pushes Phaeton forward, but not heavy enough to stay locked in, especially at this angle, and that's going to be another elimination for Totaled Out Towing. Imagine Creature from the Black Lagoon with 2 ramps. That's Low Flow, sponsored by Jedi. And somebody finally gets under Phaeton. Unfortunately, it's his own teammate, and they both go off to the side. Low Flow losing the front of its ramp, or at least a chunk of it, flies off into the junkyard. Right now, it looks like the biggest threat to Baby Brigade is themselves. Talbot Largo now, sponsored by DYW Production Labs. The Talbot completely clears the track and bounces backwards and clears itself off the track as well, unfortunately upside down. And look at what just happened on that hit. Both of the Baby Brigade have righted themselves, and Bed OLED is now sideways. Not a great result for the Skull Riders, but at least the track might be fixed. Silver Bullet now, sponsored by Jason's Bits Boys. Silver Bullet rockets into the safety rail, bounces backwards and goes curbside, starts to flatten it back out again, but the track is still warped. This has just been chaos. Flying Polyp now for Cthulhu, sponsored by the Miskatonic Automotive Club. The polyp waddles into Silver Bullet, and I don't even know how that's possible. Silver Bullet flips around and is now pointing the other direction. Not a bad position to be in for a car with a low front like that. Toe Jam, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Toe Jam makes a nice hit, and Flying Polyp goes flying over the top of Silver Bullet. Hasn't tipped over yet, though, is balancing precariously, and Toe Jam is curbside. Next up for the Baby Brigade, Hammered Coupe, sponsored by Judy Collins. Hammered Coupe lofts Toe Jam into the air, lands upside down next to that baby. Silver Bullet somehow makes a recovery and lands back in the same position after doing a complete 360. Silver Bullet refusing to give up that position. Here comes a heavy undercutter, the Scoop Coupe, sponsored by Hey Hey's Hatchback Hanger. The Scoop Coupe flings Hammered Coupe off the track, off the ramp of Silver Bullet, over the safety rail, upside down, and clears the track yet again. These heavy vehicles constantly clearing the track every time they go down. Silver Bullet forced to give up position finally, and the eliminations are stacking up. Here comes 187 grams Invader, sponsored by Ellis Wertenberger. Invader continues the trend of clearing the track. Scoop Coupe, 100 grams of car, just gets manhandled. Paint and metal chips flying everywhere from that destructive hit. I'm starting to get the feeling there's not going to be a lot of cars left at the end of this round. Next up for Cthulhu, it's Deep One, sponsored by TJG. Deep One pushes into Invader, and we actually have 2 cars on the track for at least a few seconds. Maybe we'll even be able to keep 3 on the track. It's Rig Wrecker, sponsored by Regal Radio. Rig Wrecker does slot in nicely. 3 vehicles lined up. I assume they'll all be immediately annihilated by Swoop Coupe, sponsored by Chone. Swoop Coupe gets under 2 of them, cannot get all the way down. Rig Wrecker takes the brunt of that hit and is tossed off the track sideways. Deep One nearly gets ramped off the track, but is just heavy enough to stick the landing. Another heavy truck, the 70 Dodge Power Wagon, 132 grams, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Power Wagon launches into the crates and lands down on the end of the track by its teammate Bed of Lead, and Deep One slowly and mysteriously tries to exit the track, almost makes it. Chevy Astro Van, sponsored by Hasty Productions, another heavy vehicle. The Astro Van is so heavy it pushes the Swoop Coupe off, but it still goes off the ramp and flips right over and actually rights Toe Jam at the same time. So now Totaled Out Towing have a guy right side up, which they're thankful for. Here comes Cthulhu, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal. Cthulhu trips on the Swoop Coupe and lands on its head, flips over upside down, very top heavy, probably not coming back from that hit. Next up for Totaled Out Towing, it's Fast Bed Hauler, sponsored by Sicken. Fast Bed Hauler glances off the back of the Swoop Coupe and now will not be able to set up that ramp. Not only that, but now Fast Bed Hauler has to take a hit from the biggest vehicle in this match. Backslider, 199 grams, sponsored by Hendricus Heavy Hauling. Is it the babies that make it heavy? Backslider clears the track again and sets up a devastating ramp right at the front. It's going to be impossible to dislodge that vehicle, and now all the cars are going to be ramping. There are very few right side up cars right now. A lot of Baby Brigade cars are right side up, and they're all kind of hanging out together. I don't see any surviving cars for Ragtag or the Skull Riders right now, and they have each 1 car left in this round. They got to survive this ramp if they want to stay in the match. First one to take the dive is going to be Shadow Jet 2 for the Skull Riders, sponsored by Sean and Patrick Hogan. Shadow Jet cannot stop the ramp, goes off and almost flips over, but right now is basically right side up. If it can stay in that position, the Skull Riders got a survivor. Final car of the round, 70s Van, 162 grams, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. The 70s Van hits the ramp and goes straight into the crates and takes Shadow Jet 2 along with it. Turns it upside down, lands, almost makes it right side up, but then gets foiled right at the end. And I think we just saw the elimination of 2 teams with that hit. Some of the weight on these cars impressive, but some of these teams are their own worst enemies. Taking a look at the field, 17 eliminations. I think we just broke a Junkyard Joust qualifier record. I don't think there's ever been that many eliminations eliminations before. Absolute devastation. 2 teams eliminated. We got a close call here with the Baby Brigade. Looks like that car is out. And we've even got a little damage to one of the totaled out towing vehicles. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Cthulhu only lost 2. Totaled out towing managed to stay in it with 1. And Baby Brigade only lost 1. Right now, they are looking like the team to beat in this event. Skull Riders and Ragtag Racing both eliminated. If one more team gets eliminated, this match is over. Before we move on to round 2, though, we've got a little special celebration. Junkyard Joust turns 2 years old this week, and to celebrate, the one and only Winnebago is going to drive at full speed into a giant cupcake. As you can see, we've laid out a giant tarp, which will hopefully make cleanup a little easier. Happy birthday to Junkyard Joust. Winnebago? A nice hit there by Winnebago, flips the cupcake upside down, smears frosting all over the track, and then drives it down to beyond the tarp onto the grass. Exactly what I didn't want to happen. Thanks, Winnebago. Thanks to all of you for joining me on this ride. I'm glad you're here. And now on with the joust, round 2, a round that almost didn't happen. Here comes Backslider to start off for the Baby Brigade. Backslider carves its way under Evil Weevil, and he ends up on the ramp on the other side. Still going to be a bit of a buffer now for the next vehicle to come down. Deep One's going to take the plunge. Deep One knocks Evil Weevil off and then does exactly what that ramp is designed to do. Flips over and can't quite right itself. That could be an elimination right there for Cthulhu. Totaled out towing's only hope, Toe Jam. Let's see if that plow on the front of Toe Jam can protect it from the ramp. And it cannot. Toe Jam goes right off the ramp. It's so low. Toe Jam flips over, cannot right itself. Right now it doesn't look good for totaled out towing, but that vehicle did right itself in round 1, so it could happen again. It'll be interesting to see how these Baby Brigade vehicles fare against each other. Hammered Coop's gonna start first here. Hammered Coop flies off the ramp and shears off one of the babies in the process. That baby is gone. Somehow Hammered Coop manages to land this, spin around, and make a recovery. Unbelievable. Wow, what a hit. Carthonian's up. Carthonian lofts into the crates and lands upside down, that ramp proving deadly yet again. And yet somehow the Baby Brigade's vehicles have all been able to survive their own ramps. Truly an astounding feat. Now let's see if Low Flow can survive Backslider. Low Flow cannot get under, but somehow makes the leap and jumps. More pieces flying everywhere. I don't even know what vehicles those are coming off of, but somehow Low Flow lands upright. Unbelievable recovery there. Flying Polyp. Flying Polyp meets the same fate as every car on its team has in this round. Flips over, cannot quite make a recovery next to Low Flow. And right now, both of the other teams are out. If no one on the other 2 teams makes a recovery, we'll have to go to the points chart to see who survives. Phaeton. Phaeton also goes off that ramp and makes another insane recovery. Just flips upside down and somehow does a perfect 360, lands perilously on top of other cars, but survives. Baby Brigade proving a dominating force in this match, and they are definitely going to be a team to watch out for in the final. Taking a look at the aftermath, it's all Baby Brigade. Every other vehicle wiped off the face of the junkyard. Taking a look at the total points, Cthulhu had more cars alive longer, and they're going to get to move on. Congrats to both winning teams. That was one of the fastest victories we've had on Junkyard Joust so far. And it just goes to show that anything can happen in these custom events. We've got a regular Junkyard Joust next week, then 2 weeks from now, another custom event. Thank you to RedlineDerby.com for being the place I set up the custom joust. I'll be setting up a couple of Apocalypse Joust events over there very soon. If you'd like to see your name on some of these cars as a sponsor, become a patron right now. Patreon.com/JunkyardJoust. Thank you to all my patrons for your support. See you next time on Junkyard Joust.